have no memory of my mother.
I will not condone a course of action that will lead us to war.
Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again. Today we're doing another book review. Today's book review is gonna be Queen's Peril. This is a Star Wars book. There is a book prior to this one, which is called Queen's Shadow, and I also did a review about that. So if you're interested in these books, go ahead and watch that review first. But if you're interested in specifically this one, I'm gonna go ahead and go along with this. The third book in this series is called A Queen's Hope, and I also have that one as well. I really like these books, so I kind of read them back to back. So that's why I have them both right now, and I will also be reviewing that one soon as well. So let's talk about this one. I obviously am a huge Star Wars fan, as I have a lightsaber tattoo on my arm. So I was very excited to read some Star Wars books. I really didn't know where to start though, and then I heard about this author called E.K. Johnston, and she writes a bunch of Star Wars novels. She does a lot of the series, and she's partnered with Lucasfilms Productions. I actually just found that out not that long ago. Yeah, it says right here, Lucasfilm Ltd. So, and then published by Disney and Lucasfilm Press. So George Lucas obviously is the one that made Star Wars. So she is getting published by him and also by Disney, who is the one that bought Star Wars from George Lucas. So she kind of has a hand in everything with them, which is really cool. So she's backed by all them. So everything she's writing is like really legit and really makes sense for the Star Wars stories. This is obviously Padme's story, and the first one, Queen's Shadow, is a really good introduction to this book. But this is actually technically a prequel to the Queen's Shadow, and if I would have known that, I think I would have definitely read this first, because it is actually a very good introduction book, and it helps you to really learn the characters a lot more easily than the Queen's Shadow book. I felt like I had a kind of a hard time learning the characters in that book, because they all take a name that is similar to Padme's, because that's just what the handmaidens are supposed to do in order to give her more protection, so that people kind of get confused about like who she is, and they're kind of just trying to protect her and keep her hidden. But it was very hard to learn them when you just got kind of like thrown into the story without reading this book first, because this book kind of introduces all of the handmaidens with their actual names first, and then they go about like picking new names, and you kind of learn about them and their likes, dislikes, hobbies, that type of thing, to kind of like differentiate each one. They're like, okay, this one girl likes electronics and working on electronics, she's very good at it. The one girl is a speaker, like she likes to speak. The one girl likes to do art. So they each have like their own like very unique thing about them, and it kind of like helps when you relate that to each girl in order to differentiate between each one. So I would highly suggest reading Queen's Peril first, and then Queen's Shadow, and then Queen's Hope, if you're gonna do the Star Wars books for this series. So let me give you like a brief little synopsis of this one. We start off the story with Padme getting elected as the Queen of Naboo when she's 14 years old. I believe she is the youngest queen ever elected. So that's kind of a really big thing, and we kind of learn a lot more about Padme and what she was like as a younger person, and what she's like as queen, and kind of some of the trouble she gets into as queen, and how her handmaidens are chosen for her, and like I was saying before, differentiating between each one and learning about each one and what they like, what they do, and how they really all just kind of fit really well together. How they learn each other, how they learn how to be handmaidens, how they learn how to be in Feed, which is the palace that they are in, and just all kinds of stuff that Padme kind of introduces into Naboo and into even the whole Senate. And she's just a very influential person, and she's only 14 years old. So it's really, really cool to see all that and just like go along her journey with her, because this is something we didn't get at all from the Star Wars movies. The Star Wars movies kind of picked up with her while she was already queen, and her country was getting infiltrated by the Trade Federation, which is also in this book, and we get to kind of see that firsthand, and we get to see everything from like the backside version of Padme's story and her handmaidens of when all that was happening. Whereas whenever we were watching the movie, we kind of just got to like watch the whole thing and see the Jedi and all that type of thing. So there was that, and this book really gives you like an inside view into this whole deal with all of this, and it was really, really cool to read about and just feel like you were really there with them going through all of this stuff. And as a Star Wars fan, I highly recommend and highly approve of this book and this whole series. So if you're going to read some Star Wars books, I would definitely read this, because we also don't only just read about Padme, we read about Anakin and Obi-Wan and Yoda and Mace Windu and Darth Sidious and Palpatine and Darth Maul, and we have a little bit of like everyone sprinkled in here. So I really like that. We also learn about where R2-D2 came from, and I never knew this, but R2-D2 is actually owned by the country of Naboo, because he is the Queen of Naboo's droid, and that's where he came from. So I thought that was really cool to learn about, because I've always really loved R2-D2. And of course C-3PO is like, they go hand in hand together, but he came from Anakin and R2 came from Padme, and then they kind of got together, and that's how the droids became a big thing together. So I thought that was really a cool thing that I learned from this whole series. And that's pretty much all I really have to say about this. Absolutely loved it. I would highly recommend it. Go read it. Go start it. Start with this one, then read Queen's Shadow, then read Queen's Hope. And I hope you love it. If you do, let me know. Let me know in the comments which Star Wars books I should read next, because I will be starting a new Star Wars series very soon. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Also, if you'd like to see more content from me, I post every single day on my Instagram, and I would love to see you over there. And I post a weekly video here every single Friday, and I would love to see you back every Friday to watch that as well. So that is it for today, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye!